Our president said that we've made a lot of progress from 1960 to now, in 65 years, and that's so true. So we have a lot to be grateful for. The truth also, of course, is that there are countries, several other countries that got their independence at about the same time, and we've seen some of them move, from underdevelopment to development, and that tells us that we could have done better, right? So we're grateful for how far we've come. Now, as to who is responsible, right, or especially all hands on deck. So this is the truth. Generally in leadership, we say that if you call yourself a leader, but there's no one following you, you are not leading, you are just taking a stroll. It takes both the leader and the follower to get the job done. But now we're talking about building a nation of over 200 million people. This according to current figures, right? There's no way just a few people are going to get the job done. It has to take contribution from everyone. In leadership, we say that actually it's not one star person that is going to make the country or the team to win. We say there's something you call average leadership quotient, especially when it comes to this leadership issue, right? Once you say leader, the average person's mind just goes to the people that are at the top. First in government, then maybe in businesses and other organizations. And we say, oh no, that construct rests on a definition of leadership that has expired. Because that definition, that concept of leadership believes that only a few people are born to lead, everybody else is born to follow. However, in our study of leadership now, we've come to agree that leadership is the ability to influence one or more people to achieve goals, ability to influence. So the process is influence. With that, you recognize leadership at all levels. Because we all influence one another. I say, if you persuaded your friend to go buy sweets with you when you were a child, that was leadership, right? You influenced the child. So to that extent, everyone actually can do something. Everyone has a responsibility to do something. And that brings me to the word self-government. Self-government is the most basic and most powerful form of government. If we take time to reflect, the things that affect your life the most are things you must do for yourself. However fantastic Nigeria is, government will not eat for you. However much I love you, and I love you, right? However much I love you, I cannot eat for you. I love my wife so much. I cannot eat for her. Whatever I eat,
it's for you.
It's for me, right? She has to eat for herself. A parent has to eat, the child has to eat for himself. So when you think about it, nobody's going to breed for you. Government can build the roads. Government won't decide where you are to go in life. At the basic level, right, you've got to have self-government. And the power of self-government is unlocked by self-discipline. You've got to find the purpose for your life. You've got to find the meaning for your life. You need to ask yourself, why am I here in the first place? And then you find out, I say often, your life is too small to be the purpose of your life. Nobody is created for themselves. Everything the Creator invested in us is for other people. So you learn to sacrifice. You learn to love other people, to sacrifice, to serve. And then you learn to set targets for yourself. Outside of goals, success loses its definition. Nigerians love soccer. Chelsea versus Manchester United.
That's today.
Oh, that's today, right? Oh, thank you.
No, that was before.
You see yourself,
right? But this is the point. Imagine the two teams playing with no goalposts on the field. It doesn't matter the direction in which they kick the ball, nobody's going to score. So if you don't have goals, you can't succeed. Succeed is the achievement of goals for yourself. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
You make plans on how to achieve the goals. You take action, right? As you progress in life, you become part of a family, part of an organization, and then part of the nation. It is these same attributes that you will bring into the building of a nation. We are a nation of religious people. We're very religious. that has its huge advantage, but I think it also has its huge disadvantage, because we want to ask God to be doing things we should do.
We'll come to that, but I was going to ask you what self-government has got to do with nation building, and I think you already stated it, but I would like you to expatiate a little further. Right. Because there are those who would question the fact that, wait a minute, all the people who are in government today, or at least a good number of the people who are in government today, benefited one way or the other from certain things that governments, when they were growing up, provided. For instance, those who grew up in the 70s into the 80s, particularly in the Southwest, they would talk about free education. Anyone who didn't benefit from free education probably didn't go to public school at the time, in secondary school, and maybe even in primary schools. They provided books for them, and they provided, classrooms and everything that they needed to get the stuff done. Textbooks and notebooks. I remember, because I went to a public school in Oyo State under the Bolagi government at the time. So if they benefited those things, how come we're not seeing the same things today? If some of them found themselves in governments today, how come it is difficult for them to reciprocate the things that they benefited for those who are not going through the same thing today?
Thank you. It's our collective failure.
Does that mean that those people didn't have self-government?
They failed at some point, right? However, they were responding to the environment, changes in the environment. So the more government investment in social infrastructure went down, the more the individual had to fight for themselves. Some years back, I was reading a news report and something caught my attention. 4 ex-chiefs of air staff in Nigeria were in court at the same time, taken to court by the EFCC for corruption. 4 at the same time. For me, that's a systemic problem. That's gone from being an individual thing. All 4 were accused of the same thing. They were taking money from the funds allocated to the Nigerian Air Force. So it's easy to read the news, or listen to the news, or read the newspaper and criticize. But why don't we ask ourselves why? What is their salary? Can the salary of the chief of air staff build a house? For someone that is at the zenith of his or her profession, can the person pay the school fees of 4 children, 3 or 4 children at the same time in the university from that salary? It's no. So the whole system is built on deception. It's a lie. It's not going to work. The instinct for survival is the strongest in man. I'll tell you the difference. In other parts of the world where people are not that desperate to fight for themselves, right? There's provision. There's social welfare. I was discussing with a friend from the UK, and he said, I have no fear about what will happen to my children if I were to die today. He said, because education is free till they finish A-levels, and I know it is high-quality education. I know there are student loans that they can get to go through university. I know when they finish university, the odds or the probability of them getting a job is very high, or getting jobs is very high, so they'll be okay. In the event that they don't have jobs, the British government pays a stipend every week to every legal resident or citizen that is unemployed. So what should I steal money for? Why do I need to be desperate? The Nigerian has no equivalent, especially the person that is rising into leadership. The person may be a director in a government agency or so. Level 16, level 17, they cannot meet basic needs. You have the police officer that you gave a gun, but his pay cannot sustain a family. So I'm just saying, I'm not giving excuses for their failure. I'm just saying it's our collective failure that we created an environment that makes one that desperate. And that's why you notice in waves, We've had people just ship out of the country, people who could not take it, who have aspirations, and who don't want to do what is illegitimate. They just ship out to better environments.